Yo, what's going on, y'all? All right, so we're going to piggyback off of the last video with Mars falling in the home. We're going to continue. I want to talk about Jupiter in detail so we can have as much information at our fingertips before I make this conversation excel. So I want to begin with the saying that states, people say that money just amplifies who the person really is. I think it's the opposite. I think money amplifies who the person isn't. And it's not until, hear me out fully though, it's not until people obtain wisdom, which is knowledge applied, that they realize how to manage wealth. And they realize the part that they play in being an expansive figure, one who is responsible for other people in some type of way, especially when it's tied to wealth, especially when it's tied to assisting, educating, and especially when it's tied to family. So the reason why I say that is because you can, and get in the comment section if you've ever been through this, if you've come across some money before and you had a goal to achieve, right? We'll say small, although Jupiter is a big, expansive, even sometimes exaggerated, right? Jupiter gets exaggerated, which is going to be important in this lesson too. You have a goal that you want to achieve or a dream that you want to accomplish, but you tell yourself you need money before you do it. Okay, granted, you get the money and you put your feet forward to do this thing, X, Y, and Z. And when you do it, you crash, you burn, you fail, right? Okay, granted, it happened. My point here is Jupiter is costly lessons until you obtain the wisdom. And obtaining the wisdom is going to come from believing that you need money to do something first. That's one. And then failing and then realizing why you failed at it. All right? Because that's the lesson. You just got finished paying for a lesson. Now you can compare and contrast this to Saturn to make this more simpler of an analogy, because Saturn is, you're going to put the work in, you're going to get the work out, and money is beyond. Like if you get paid for it later on down the line, so be it. That's how Saturn rewards you later. But Saturn is going to give you the lesson without a dime being spent. Just go put some work in. You'll find out how to do it. Now the other person who's using Jupiter energy might look like they're doing a whole lot because they got the money. Their expenditures are going off the radar and it just looks great. But do they really know what they're doing? And you can watch tutorials, YouTube videos of whether they're celebrities, successful businessmen, or people, just regular people. How about that, right? And they'll tell you like, yeah, man, I spent X, Y, and Z on this, that, and third. I blew thousands. I spent millions on this and it failed and you know what I mean? But they kept going. They're costly mistakes is what Jupiter is. Now, Jupiter equals immense wealth. It equals the father in the family. Trust me when I tell you. It equals wisdom. All right? It's knowledge applied as wisdom. Now, the knowledge base is going to be Saturn, but the wisdom is going to be the knowledge applied. And Jupiter also rules over generosity. So you can be generous with your family. You can be generous with your friends. You can be generous with your co-workers. See how that turns out. Look at this as a test. Like if you give somebody a phone, for example, see if they turn that into an asset, or if they turn that into being on social media for the majority of the day, which is not a terrible thing, but are they monetizing off of it? Are they benefiting from it? Even if it's just a social construct that says, you know what, this makes me feel better, right? But does it truly? You know what I'm saying? Does it truly? Or are you trying to make any type of base to better your life in some type of way with the phone? Some people, they'll take that phone and they'll go make something productive happen. I'm not going to say how amazing it is. That would be somewhat biased, but make something productive happen to where they can actually buy the phone 2 times now and afford their own, minutes, the bill, whatever the case may be, every month now, because they looked at that phone as an asset. But you as the giver, right, the Jupiter person who's being generous, you should be watchful of this and say, do they turn that into an asset or do they turn that into a liability? You understand what I'm saying? And reason being is because You don't want to continue being generous to people that you should have used more discernment with. And this doesn't have to only be in the form of money. Like I said, it's a test. You could use it in the form of gifts. You can use it in the form of wisdom, just giving guidance, right? I think this is where Jupiter and Neptune actually took the split, because, spiritual guidance is more geared towards Pisces now. Like, hey, I'll give you a good word of encouragement or some advice. And sometimes these days people they rather just give me some money. How about you just give me some money? You know what I'm saying? So that falls more along the lines of Jupiter, and it's just like, I guess Jupiter doesn't rule over Pisces and no more. You know what I mean? But that's a discussion for another time. But I just want to make a point here. You know what I'm saying? But test it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could be anything. Be generous. Now, the Jupiter energy, however, is supposed to be a heartfelt gesture, right? Like, you know what? It's generosity. I'm just giving you this. If you mess this up, that's on you. You did that, But I'm not going to feel obligated to feel some type of way about it, because it's not a Saturn thing, like breaking you off something out of stipulations and an obligation. It's not. I got it, so here, I give it to you. There's memes and videos flying all around right now about people who feel that way. They say, if I gave you something, that's because it came from my heart. I just gave that to you. I ain't tripping if you know what I mean? But if you mess it up, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of individual that I am. That's Jupiter energy. But it doesn't mean to disregard how people behave when you are generous to them. And of course, this is going to tie into wealth, right? Now, knowledge equals man's words. So what I'm going to tell you, just a few days ago, I bumped into somebody that I actually was having a text conversation with before that. And this is how the universe works. We was kicking it back and forth. I told them the situation. They hit me back. They say, yo, don't worry about it. Just do this, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, all right. Boom. I end up seeing them like a day or two later. So we chopping up again. Yo, you did what I told you? I said, yeah, I did, as a matter of fact. And he was like, all right. He told me some more extensive information. It was like, yo, just do this. You know what I'm saying? And everything going to be cool. So I was like, all right. Now, I could have felt like, you're not bigger than me, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuck my chest out, or whatever the case may be. I listened to the knowledge. It's a knowledgeable man, excuse me. I took the advice, I applied it, right? Wisdom. And now it panned out for me. But let me continue this story, right? In the same scenario, I had spoke to a woman who's also in the same, I would say, sector or industry that this scenario that I'm talking about is in, right? Now, the words of a woman is wisdom, all right? Words of a woman is wisdom. And the woman was like, hey, you know what? When you're out there doing X, do Y as well. Come back and do Y and then come back, and everything will be swell. And I was like, okay. Went and I did Y, came back, everything is swell. Wisdom, right? I took the knowledge that dude gave me and everything. I already had it in gear. Like, I'm explaining it to the woman, like, yeah, I'm about to do such and such, telling them about the knowledge. And they was like, okay, well, also go do this, that, and the third, and then come back and everything will go even more well. So it's not that she wasn't knowledgeable. It's just that she has a gift from the universe as well to speak wisdom into people. Steps that make people wise, the correct type of steps to take. Now, listen, every woman's not going to have wisdom. How do you be able to tell the difference? If a woman speaks to you and it drains you of your resources, right? If they are giving you guidance or wisdom words and it drains you of your resources, that doesn't add on to you, they are not wise. They are not wise counsel for you. Men, I hope you hear me loud and clear. This is not up for debate, although you can debate. You can get in the comment section and debate this. However, I'm telling you. So, same thing goes to men too. All men are not knowledgeable, and you'll be able to find out based upon skills. So knowledge is going to provide men with skill sets, okay? Primarily men. I'm not saying women don't have skill sets, but y'all heard what I said about men in the last video, right? So men are going to give you words of knowledge that says, yo, look, if you go here and do this, they going to put you on and boom, 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 boom. You know how we are. Guys, I know how we are, right? And then we do that and we like, okay, we in there. Now, look, this is more along the lines of Saturn. I'm going to get into more detail of what. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it now. The corporation, Saturn rules over the corporation, which is Capricorn, the operation of business, the functionality of it, right? Corpse, the word corp comes from the word corpse, meaning people who form corporations already feel abandoned by the family. All right, they already feel abandoned by the family. Now, there's an exception for certain cases when people come from money and they come from a family lineage and they start a corporation. They come from a family. You understand? They come from Jupiter energy. They didn't have to go through more of the painstaking things that people who just came right off of the water onto the land in a corpse style have to go through. What do I mean by this? So look, maritime law, right? If y'all ain't heard anything about Jordan Maxwell and stuff like that, y'all gonna be able to tap into what I'm saying right now. So the woman, right, rules over the fourth house. Mother, right, is births the baby out of the womb anyway. So some of you ladies, you can refer to the deadbeat daddy, alleged deadbeat daddies, or maybe deadbeat, however you choose to say it, right? It takes two to tango, but however y'all choose to say it, I don't want to turn that into that right now. But the reason why I'm stating it that way is because these children are born out of wedlock. They don't come from a family. I told y'all before, I'm a supporter of marriage. I encourage it. And I'm telling guys that's listening before, you might not make it to the end of this video, look to marry the partner that you have children with. Look to do that. Am I saying that being born out of wedlock is the worst? No. But what I'm telling you is this lesson of why I encourage it and why I support to marry the woman that you're having children with. So the woman births the baby, right? A ship, birth, citizenship, the ship, all of the ships, the relationships, the partnerships, all of that, right? So the woman has this baby, let's say it's born out of wedlock. So now the Capricorn is a sea goat that comes from the sea onto land and climbs to the mountaintop. And that is what the corporation is about. So these babies that are birthed out into sea, is what they're called abandoned at sea. Abandoned at sea. This is where piracy and pirates come from. Why? Because they're like born degenerates. I know this might hit a vein for some people, but hear me out. Like this is real, yo. People are going through this right now, and people have been going through this for the past 20, 30, 40 years. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's kind of painful when you don't come from a family of wealth, when you don't come from a lineage of wealth and establishment and say, yeah, that's the father, that's the mother, this is the family tree. I get it, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's the lesson here. You gotta listen. So these babies are born out of wedlock, right? They hit the land running. And the corporation, what does the corporation do? Anybody else been through this? If you've been through this, get in the comment section. You don't have to, maybe you want to keep it private. But if you feel where I'm coming from, if you ever worked at a job and they gave you just enough to get what you need immediately done, just get in the comment section. Or just like the video. You just like the video if you've been there before, That's what the corp does. That's what the corporation does. And that's what the corpse is about. It's about, listen, we have to have an obligation to each other. Total strangers. You live over there, I live over here, they live over there, they live over there. But we all travel on the subways and the buses and we drive to this one building in the middle of the city, Rob. And we working. We find a way to make it work. Even though some of us don't like each other, we don't, all that. We still find a way to make it work without going at each other's necks and getting that paycheck to take care of what we got to immediately take care of and get her done, right? That's Saturn energy. Got nothing to do with Jupiter. Jupiter is when that mother births you and you got everything, you got the what is it, the cradle, I don't even know what to call them anymore. You know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying, right? The crib. And not saying that the less fortunate don't have those things. I'm just saying like things are propped up for you. There might even be CD accounts waiting for you. There may be the most prestigious schools waiting for you to be put into because your daddy has a lot of wealth. Your mommy too, you know what I'm saying? But listen to what I'm saying. They're together, right? At least they began together, So they have that foundation set up for the kids already. You understand what I'm saying? And listen, when the family unit splits, when there's a divorce, there's two legacies now. It's no longer that legacy, that family union that passes down in your inheritance and all that. No, mommy got their own legacy now, and daddy got their own legacy. You're almost part of the wedlock people now. Welcome to the club type shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the Saturn energy is about. It's not about expanding your wealth. It's like, right? You want to get up in the corporation, you got to work for it. You got to prove it. There's a chain of command, and you got to put in effort, work, energy, and show that you are knowledgeable in order to get that recognition and status, right? But that's how you get paid too. You're not gonna get the big bucks if you ain't up there, right? Jupiter is different. Jupiter, when you born in the wealthy and your parents is wealthy, you don't have you don't wake up and feel like somebody's chasing you to pay a bill, right? It's a sense of entitlement, right? It's like my dad ripped this fucking summons up. What are you talking about? My dad'll be here in 15 minutes and we'll have all of your badges or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know how these entitled children can talk, privileged children and stuff like that. It's like that. And I'm not knocking what they are, who they are, and how they behave, but I'm making a point here. Behavior, right? Even them are subject to Jupiterian behavior because they have so much. And they might feel like, well, I could pay my way out of anything. I seen a post the other day with this rich dude. He had like a Corvette or something like that parked outside in the city. And he was like, poor people only worry about tickets. I park my car any way I want to because I'm rich. And I felt that. I'm not even mad at him. But the way that that's delivered, you understand what I'm saying? Behavior. It's like, okay, you're not going to follow the rules because you'll pay for it. And guess what? Somebody is out there in the corpses is out there ready to have you pay for it, aka extort you for it. I could call it extortion because all you would have to do is follow the rule, Ferrari or not. You know what I'm saying? Why would you just want to freely give your money? Oh, no. Because you're rich. That's that attitude, right? And this is what I mean about Jupiter. You're not going to be this tyrant of a person until Jupiter enters your world and makes that possible. You're not going to be, think about it. Every tyrant that came into power how? By wealth. Sure, they was something about their individualistic characteristics got them to that point. But guess what? The onlookers, the investors were looking at this person and said, I'm going to invest in them. I'm going to invest. Then they got a pool of investors. I'm not even going to start naming off these people, but you can guess. You can get in the comment section and name some people too who got wealthy, and then it was on. It was on. And what happens a lot of the times when these people get on like that and they start making these exaggerated claims and decisions, taking on more than they can actually handle, not because they don't have enough money to do it, but because they don't have enough wisdom to do it. They're overlooking the steps that is necessary to be responsibility. That's Saturn. That's why these planets always differ, because it's like Saturn is just like, okay, you lucky, which Jupiter is. And Jupiter's just like, oh, you just want to work all of your life in it. But Saturn tells people, look, you want something, you work for it. Like government works, right? You see they got the badge and they got the fish on one side and they got the dude holding the hoe, right? And what do you think that represents? It represents, look, you want to eat this fish, you better grab that hoe. Better put in some work, hoe. Because that's how we moving out here. It's corporation. It's corp shit. Everybody wasn't born here with wealth. Which I know y'all heard about that 13 family story, right? Am I tripping? Am I saying anything wrong right now? I think. So I act like I heard y'all say something, right? But I could just sometimes hear it. Like, how do you know this? Look, this ain't nothing new under the sun. So, people get their money and they do what they do with it, and they overlook the steps that's necessary to be in alignment, to be correct, and they can piss wealth away. This is what Jupiter's also, fourth house inheritance, the lineage, what's being passed down. So people who are wealthy, they're making assessments of the people who are close to them, family, whoever, because you don't have to leave it to a family member. So another thing that I want to make clear to y'all, especially the youngins who ain't get involved into the baby making and stuff yet, is if you can, find out where your spouse's Jupiter is, where your Jupiter is. Because you might just go with the general statement of Jupiter is exalted in the fourth house, exalted in Cancer, and then you may think it's like that for everybody, but it's not, ma. It's not, my guy. It's not. Look at your charts. All right? They may be more generous and more in Jupiter, like in a whole different house. And then you looking for, You think y'all doing this thing together. Y'all might be blind to it and think y'all doing this thing together and y'all going to build up this account for X, Y, and Z, and then somebody sneaks in the back door and does some funny contract work with you, and the next thing you know, they send an agent to go screw your daughter, and now he banging dollar signs out of her, and then somebody like slips him a Mickey or something, and you understand what I'm saying? And then you be thinking, oh, but it's supposed to go like this. Generational wealth. Not for everybody, yo. This is not, life is not a one size fit all. I'm not even sorry to tell y'all. I have to tell y'all this. Life is not a one size fit all. So a lot of y'all who are watching this too, you might be upset. You might have regrets about how your family unit turned out, how it began, or where it's going, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Learn yourself. Learn your natal chart. Learn your partner's natal chart. Learn the people in your lives' natal chart who you, claim to be dear, right? And they may still be dear to you, but you may be applying Jupiter energy to them when it shouldn't be. Because let me tell you something, if it doesn't benefit you, and I know I sound like a lover of myself, but I'm keeping it G with you. If it doesn't benefit you, it's not Jupiterian, all right? Because you're aiming to leave something behind. Legacy is Jupiter. You're looking to leave something behind. How can you pour from an empty cup, right? That's how the saying goes. How? You gotta go to the well and store the buckets of water up. And this is what I'm saying. And I want to make this point too. Women who are wise, they will assist you in filling up your well, getting buckets to replenish your accounts. Straight up. Now, the most wise women are going to be the women who are like landlords. And I say landlord because Jupiter's exalted in the home, right? So if your landlord is like, hey, just make sure you make the payment on time. It's just to be the broker who got you the deal, It's like, oh, this is a sweet deal. I got this discount and this, that, and the third. And That's a woman of wisdom because they're looking out for your legacy. Whether you chalk your house up to be a asset or a liability, that's up to you. Initially, it is a liability, right? However, you never know. It could be an asset. It depends on how you moving, right? But think about this: food, clothing, shelter. The most foundational thing that you can pass down to someone is a place to stay. It's a place to stay. That could be a form of testing your people too. It's like if they need a place to stay, like, all right, stay a few nights. You know what I'm saying? Or you could stay and see how they behave. Remember, this is all going to be chalked up to behavior when it comes down to it. Making decisions, like real decisions. You see how they behave. You see if they ungrateful or not, But the most foundational thing can be a home. So, Big Mama and them back in the 50s and all that, they made sure they passed down a home. Like, no matter what, my grands are going to have some place to come and stay and come live. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they was moving back then. Because you can obviously imagine how more of a challenge it was to get wealthy for Big Mama and them. You feel what I'm saying? And this is all race, color, and creeds who went through that. I'm not turning this into a black conversation. An indigenous conversation, and you get what I'm saying, an African conversation. You get what I'm going, right? So, yeah, those are the most wise women. Relationship bankers. You might be like, oh, come on, I'm not sleeping with the banker. You might just one day. But think about it. You go into a bank, what's she gonna be talking to you about? Hey, baby, listen, I got this account over here. If you're looking to hold on to something long term and you want it to work for you, I advise you get a CD account. If not, if you operate with a savings account, well, we don't offer the highest interest rate, but, we offer a better rate than so-and-so and them and such and them. It's just like, oh, yeah, I dig you. Like, you're for me. You understand what I'm saying? You're for me. And I know y'all like, oh, no, but the bank charges fees and overdrafts. We ain't looking to get no fees and overdrafts. What's the threshold, ma? Oh, just keep $1,000 in there and you won't pay no fees. Bet. I'm going to keep $1,000 in there. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to keep $1,000 in there. You understand what I'm saying? But she's not going to give you no misleading information. She's going to help you store up wealth, right? So that's a wise woman there. That's a wise woman. Straight up. And women, like I said, women who assist you in building your legacy and building your wealth. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to tell, like, if some dudes, like I'm telling you, some dudes, they get some money, they go to the strip club and they make it rain. And who knows? They might have Jupiter in a place that suggests that they do that. But some dudes, they overdo it when they get money. They'll run and try to like force themselves on a chick. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just using this as an example because it's so much simpler to identify in just common life. You know, when a guy does a sweet nothing for a female that he likes, you know what I'm saying? He might think he got to go break the bank in order to do it, in order to bag her, in order for her to like him. You understand what I'm saying? That's Jupiter energy, because he wouldn't have did that. Again, go back to the ego, quiet the ego. Who are you when you're alone? Who are you when you have nothing? That skill set that you have or that you developed, that aura that you have about you, without a coin tied to your name, that's who you are. But as soon as you get that Jupiter, as soon as you get that wealth, you like, oh, what's good, Ma? What you doing? Like, word, I'm saying, let's go to name somewhere expensive and it's a restaurant in the comment section. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they can't do it like me. Start jingling your jewelry and all that. Oh, word? That's what you're doing with the Jupiter? All right. But if it gets stripped from you, not saying you're gonna, whether it's robbed or you lose it in a I don't know, amusement park or something. You understand what I'm saying? You're like, damn, why I go to an amusement park with my shines on? See? You need the wisdom. You lack the wisdom. You ain't applied this knowledge yet. You ain't get this knowledge. You ain't get this higher education yet. And believe the people who are going to college or whatever university or whatever study that you're taking that's not in the 1 through 12 curriculum, right? The people who are taking those courses, they get in this. They get into it. They get it, and they're not suffering as much as people who have to utilize the money to go through it, right? And some people are. And what was I saying? Yeah, what I wanted to say about the tyrants is, look how much they land on their feet. Think about the tyrants who got away with so much stuff. It's because they was lucky. With wealth comes being lucky. Now, I'm not saying that the poorest of people get lucky too. But when you got wealth and you're lucky, you're more powerful with the wealth because you can incentivize other people to move for you. You get what I'm saying? So that is what makes people get grandiose. Jupiter's grandiose, exaggerated thoughts, exaggerated living. Like, yo, it's going to take some solid steps and some patient steps to get what you want done, perhaps. It's going to take some ethical points, too. Might have to go through something in the world in order to get these things done that you want to do. You might have to go through the law or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But powerful Jupiterian energy will try to bulldoze over that. We did a study in college. This is a good example, too. We did a study in college before. I'm not going to say the name of the company. I don't want to slander them. But I may have spoken about this on the channel before, too. And this company was doing very well, right? And they got competitors and stuff like that. So they're in an industry that is fruitful, should I say. And this company that I'm talking about was doing better than the competitor that I'm talking about at the same time, right? The competitor chose to add some new features onto their products and services. Their sales went up, but it still didn't surpass the sales and the profits of the other company that I'm talking about, right? Who was spending less and still making more. Now, because they had money, again, remember, it's because they are wealthy, this organization. They decided to not only add the same features that this company did, but even some more features that it could still separate them from the competition. You know what happened? The sales went down. The sales not only went down, it went down further than their competitor that they was trying to get one up on. And at this time, we're in the era of like Yelp coming on the scene, and you know what I'm saying? So all these company reviews, product reviews and everything, 1 star, 2 stars type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it was all bad. It wasn't all bad because it wasn't destroyed, but that's Jupiter, yo. That's Jupiter. Definitely need y'all to know this because I know it's a great planet, right? Everybody always says the positive and the optimism. Don't get it twisted. Some people can be optimistic about doing the most heinous shit in the world. You can't be optimistic about doing somebody dirty, doing a large amount of people dirty. Sure. And then you'd be like, oh yeah, as soon as I get enough money, Wait till I get my money right. That's Jupiter. Expansion. You understand what I'm saying? So don't get it confused, y'all. I don't want y'all to get it confused. So I also want to talk about big Cancer energy. I want to say coming out of the house for legacy, period. I call that big Cancer energy. I don't even recall where I heard this before. I didn't hear it in the term as big Cancer energy. I'm calling it big Cancer energy, but I heard that like the Cancer energy comes out of the house. Like Cancers could really be hermits. They could really love their home so much that they stay home. They don't come out of the energy, because some of y'all Cancers be off the meat rack, right? Y'all got different aspect stuff going on, and transits be affecting y'all probably more than anybody else. So I get it, you know what I mean? Your house costs a lot of money, you gotta get out there, whatever. But big Cancer energy is like the energy comes out of the home for the home. So what I mean by that is, don't expect people to come out for frivolous activities if they're about their legacy, if they're about their fourth house, if they're about their nest egg, if they're about what they're passing down, what they're leaving behind. And you could do G checks all the time based upon this. Try to get people out to do miscellaneous stuff. It'd be like, they might flip it on you. Why don't y'all come over here and do that? In the house? Why don't you get out the house? Yeah, in the house. What's wrong with the house? If it could be done in the house, let's do it in the house. What, you want to play bingo or some shit? Do it in the house. You want me to come out and spend $500 on playing bingo with y'all? And the Cancer could be wealthy as fuck. It don't matter. Big Cancer energy is I come out for my legacy. Y'all see me moving out and about. It's for a reason. It's for a purpose. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you got this knowledge, and if you've experienced being abandoned at sea, lost at sea, and had to join the corporation until you found your own foundation, then even more of you're wise now. You got the wisdom to say, look, if it don't make no money, it don't make no sense to me. You want me to come where? Go where? For what? For who? Now, I'm not saying to exclude your family members and the close people who are close to you. It might not even be your relatives. You might have to cut ties with your relatives and just deal with people who are more family-like, and vice versa. You can peg someone to be like family. You're like, oh, that's family, that's fam, that's fam, that's fam. Then they could fuck around and end up doing you dirty. Or just disappointing you, should I say. Not the worst. They could just disappoint you and you be like, oh man, that hurt. I cut. I thought that was Fambino. It's like, nah. And it might be because they going out for their legacy. Every individual has their own legacy unless you're married. If you're married with children, that's a legacy. That's one unit. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not, you all got a different legacy. Baby daddies and baby mamas, stop thinking, oh yeah, we co-parenting. Okay, y'all co-parenting, but don't get it fucked up. Y'all do not share the same legacy. Y'all don't. And I know this probably hurts. This could be like, oh, so now the kids are involved and they got to hear this shit. And they like, what? What does he mean when he say that? So you mean I'm part of both you and daddy, but one of y'all is going to have a separate I'm going to have an inheritance separately. Like, I got to get this from you and this from you. And keep it a bean with the boy, with the girl. Keep it a bean, yo. Be like, yeah. That's how it is, because we are not together. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it is what it is. But a lot of people are out here believing that, the baby mama stuff, the common marriages and stuff like that mean everything. And sure, it might stand up in court, but how many people do you know who are just, winging it or going through life, winging it, and they don't have a trust. They don't speak about life insurance or invest in life insurance and stuff like that. They just baby mommy and baby daddy until either they separate or they might stay together. You know what I'm saying? But who amongst all of us are having these types of discussions? This is why I'm doing this video as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, the misuse of Jupiter, that wisdom, right, will lead into you being in Saturn's box. So notice Saturn is a cube, right? It's like being imprisoned in your own mind. And there's a lot of truth to that. Because Saturn is the top chakra, right? But it's like you have descended to the third dimension to play life. So it's almost inevitable that you be boxed in. But when people talk about freedom and financial freedom, they're usually utilizing the same sentence And that's when you can tell your boss, fuck you, you're cool, I'm out of here, half-baked shit, huh? If you know, you know. But anyway, right? You can't do that without Jupiter. So the more you squander wealth, and this is what makes misers, this is what creates misers. Some misers been in some tight situations and they turn into Scrooge McDuck. They're like, you know what, fuck that. It's all about the legacy. I don't care who don't like me or got something to say about me. It ain't stop my money. It ain't stop my savings account. They might scrape every little cent. Stingy as fuck, don't spend nothing. Be like, so what? I was born by myself, I'm going by myself. What we talking about? What we doing? If you really with me, I'll know. If you're really going to be a part of the legacy, I'll know. Some people leave it all to the cat, to the dog, to the government. They're like, oh, fuck family. Fuck all them motherfuckers. Grimy asses, you know? But like I was saying, the more you squander Jupiter, the more you're going to be. And when I say Saturn's box, I'm saying not that you'll lose your top chakra, your crown chakra, nah. But you will acknowledge that, yo, you're going to have to toil and labor a lot more in order to get what it is, first, that you deserve and what you need. And in order to get wealthy, it's going to take more work because of your behavior with wealth. Jupiter, you want wisdom, you must behave with wealth. And I'd advise, after saying this information, to check your natal charts. The answer will be there. I'm not giving you that answer. The answer will be there, though. And remember, I said Jupiter is the husband archetype. So all of y'all wanting to get pregnant out there, y'all hot in the ass right now, y'all all over your boyfriend and all that, ma. Listen, what's this Jupiter energy like? You gonna be a baby mama? You might be a baby mama, right? So be conscious. Look, y'all got a great chance of having so much knowledge at your fingertips for free in this Aquarius age, and this, you know, these last few generations after me, to be able to get this knowledge. Like, this knowledge wasn't available when we was coming up. I'm gonna just keep it a beam with you, unless you got it from home. I'm gonna speak for myself. I didn't get this from home. I got some great game from home, but it wasn't the shit that I'm spitting right now. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't about legacy, wealth, and stuff like that. And not for nothing, my grandfather was a wealthy man. But my father didn't give a fuck about that. He was like, he didn't care about that. But not only that, it's a little personal, but not only that, the union wasn't what I'm speaking about, husband and wife. It was more of a fling thing or an infatuation thing. I'm not going to get too deep into this shit, but, you know, it happened. You know what I'm saying? And despite him being so wealthy, it wasn't like my father was dependent on that. It's pretty much what I'm saying. Or that he wanted to be, I guess you could say, associated with dude based upon that. And I'm not saying that this dude didn't want to be. From what I heard, the dude was actually like, you know, sending care packages. Let's keep it at that. You know what I'm saying? But check the Jupiter energy, ma. Does he have Jupiter potential? Right? Because it's granted. I seen somebody in the comment section on the last video stating how, you know, the wealth did help or something like that. I forget the word verbatim, but, you know, when you're taking care of a family, yeah, you got to expect your chick to be like, yo, dude, you got to do this, that, and the third. If a chick is nagging at you because of that, negging and all of that, yo, you small time. You need to, you know what I'm saying? Right, negging, that is the term, right? Negging is the term, right? Then it's because they know, like, you got to get this Jupiter energy if we're going to be a family. They'll fuck around and leave you, dude. Like, they'll drop you, dude, if you don't get it together. Like, they giving you that wisdom, words of wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? And I remember, a woman who's not wise going to drain you. They going to talk about Balenciaga, Trip Me, Miami. They going to be doing a bunch of that. If I send a chick to DR to get a body done, you making me some money with that body. Straight up. You understand what I'm saying? But you're going to be my wife if we talking Jupiter shit. If not, we talking Saturn shit, and we're just going to have a contractual agreement relationship like that. But even Jupiterian, you know what I'm saying? And I say that because when you're married, you it's a business certificate. That's what marriage is. Solidifying. Look, you mines. I'm yours. We together. And this is what we doing. This is how we riding now. But without that, we're going to have more stipulations. You know? And a household is different. If you move freely, I move freely. We look at the accounts. We help. That's a different video. Because then you got to talk about 8th house and 4th house too, but you got to talk about the Venus and all of that gets included in that. But I'm dragging it now. I feel like I'm dragging it, so I'm about to end it. Let me think. That's it. I ain't gonna drag it no more. If it's something that I left out, I'll get back to it on the next video. I'm out, y'all. Peace.